Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Prime Minister Modi set to embark on a two-nation visit to UK and Maldives. Will hold talks with UK counterpart in London on key issues. Also to attend Maldives Independence Day as guest of honour. India extends medical assistance to Bangladesh to send a team of burn specialist doctors and nurses to treat the Dhaka jet crash victims. Trump announces massive trade deal with Japan with 15% tariffs. Deal includes $550 billion of Japanese investments in the US, also lowers tariffs to 19% in trade deal with Indonesia. In cricket, India to take on England in a do-or-die fourth test at Old Trafford to level the series. Prime Minister Modi's upcoming visits to the UK and Maldives aim to boost strategic ties, trade and cooperation. In the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister will meet his counterpart, PM Starmer, and also have an audience with King Charles III. In Maldives, he will attend Independence Day as guest of honour and strengthen regional partnership with President Muizu. Here's a report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit the UK on 23rd and 24th of July at the invitation of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. This marks Prime Minister Modi's fourth official UK visit. The two leaders are expected to discuss India-UK ties, regional and global issues, and review progress on the comprehensive strategic partnership focusing on trade, technology, defense, climate, health, education, and cultural exchanges. Prime Minister Modi is also expected to meet King Charles III.
The UK is also the sixth largest investor in India with a cumulative investment of $36 billion. And interestingly, India itself is a large source of foreign direct investment in the UK with a cumulative investment of close to $20 billion. There are close to 1,000 Indian companies in the UK that provide employment to nearly 100,000 people.
After United Kingdom, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Maldives on 25th and 26th of July at the invitation of President Mohammad Muizu. This is Prime Minister Modi's third visit to Maldives and the first by a foreign leader during Muizu's presidency. Prime Minister Modi will be the guest of honor at Maldives' 60th Independence Day on 26th of July. He will meet President Muizu to discuss key issues and review the progress on the India-Maldives economic and maritime security partnership.
India is one of the largest trading partners of the Maldives. Both countries are in discussions to negotiate a free trade agreement and an investment treaty as well. And new areas of cooperation, including renewable energy, fisheries, etc., are also being worked on.
The visit highlights Maldives' significance in India's neighborhood first policy and India's vision of Mahasagar. In essence, both visits aim to strengthen strategic partnerships, celebrate key national milestones, and reinforce India's diplomatic priorities in Europe and the Indian Ocean region. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is headed for the United Kingdom for a two-day visit on July 23rd and 24th. The two nations became comprehensive strategic partners in 2021, and the Prime Minister's fourth visit to the UK since 2014 is expected to be another occasion to further enhance the already extensive bilateral relations.
India and United Kingdom ties extend through centuries, but of late have been scaling new heights. Trade neared $55 billion in 2023-24, and cooperation in the fields of energy, security, technology, climate, and other critical areas has also been rising. All aspects of the relations are expected to get a fresh fillip now with Prime Minister's latest visit.
The Prime Minister will be embarking on an official visit to the United Kingdom tomorrow, the 23rd of July, for discussions during the visit with the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And during the visit, he will also call on His Majesty King Charles III. There is also, during the visit, interaction that is planned with business leaders both from India and the United Kingdom. This will be Prime Minister's fourth visit to the United Kingdom since assuming office. He has visited previously in 2015 and 2018, and he was there in 2021 for the COP26 summit in Glasgow.
India and the UK have also been working on an over 2,000-page long trade pact since 2022. On the 6th of May, the Prime Ministers of two nations had announced the conclusion of all negotiations, indicating that a formalization is close at hand.
There was a conversation on the 6th of May between the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of the UK, where an announcement had been made that the two sides had concluded negotiations on a free trade agreement and other issues. Since then, the two sides have been in very close touch with each other.
During his 2-day UK stay, Prime Minister Modi will call on King Charles III, and he will also meet business representatives while having an informal interaction with members of the Indian diaspora.
A review of the comprehensive strategic partnership is also on the cards, but in times of conflict as well as tariff and trade tensions, when the leaders of the two major democracies in the world will meet, it will also send out a clear message of openness, cooperation and stability. With camera person Sanjay Jaina, Gautam Roy, London, UK, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 2-day United Kingdom tour starting Wednesday. He will be calling on King Charles III and holding a bilateral meeting with his UK counterpart Keir Starmer on Thursday. DD India's Gautam Roy has spoken with India's High Commissioner to UK, Vikram Doraiswamy, about the prospects of the visit, including the much-anticipated free trade pact and how it will enhance the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two nations. Let's listen in.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on his fourth visit to the United Kingdom from the 23rd to the 24th of July. India and the UK have extensive relations. This is a comprehensive bilateral partnership. How is it going to be expanded further this time around? Let's find out from Vikram Doraiswamy. He's India's High Commissioner to the UK. Thank you for joining us, High Commissioner. What can you tell us about the agenda this time around for the Prime Minister?
Well, this is a short but very focused visit. The Prime Minister's agenda is really to push the relationship to the next level. The focus is on essentially taking forward the relationship on core verticals that we see as forward-looking, futuristic pillars of the relationship. So that includes the technology domain, where the UK and India have been strong partners on something called the Technology Security Initiative, which was launched last year. We are also partners on developing our trade relationship, which has been growing along at a pretty steady pace. We also look at education as a major part of the mix. As you probably know, not only do we have a large number of students here, we also have the largest number possibly of universities opening campuses in India from the UK. I think the idea that India is now open for partnerships with quality universities to meet the enormous demand for high quality education that Indians have traditionally had, I think that's an important part of the piece.
The India-UK trade pact has been in the works since 2022, and there's been a lot of speculation around it. Is it on the anvil this time around in this trip, the formalization of it?
Well, look, I mean, the trade ministers announced the completion of formal negotiations. We are engaged in a last-minute sprint to complete all of the legal scrubbing and paperwork that goes into it. Let's not anticipate what the Prime Minister will do. Let the Prime Minister come here and then we'll take that forward.
All in all, what kind of a message do you think the leaders of these two countries, two democracies, which have extensive links, not just through the present times, but going back centuries, would be sending out to the world in the kind of times that we live in, where you not only have conflicts in different parts of the world and all kinds of barriers coming up, even when it comes to the movement of people, and India and UK have very vibrant ties there, 1.8 billion strong diaspora here.
I think the message that we'd like to convey, that the leadership would like to convey, is that fourth largest economy in the world and the sixth largest economy in the world are doing business together, that we see the process of making it easier to do business, making it easier to invest in each other's country, making it easier for legal and practical means of having qualified people travel to each other's countries and thereby support businesses. All of these are good things, and that's a message in and of itself.
Great. Thank you for speaking to DD India, High Commissioner.
Thank you so much for having me.
The United Kingdom has a 1.8 million strong Indian diaspora, which is looking forward to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. DD India's Gautam Roy has spoken with Lord Remy Ranger, member, House of Lords, a well-known businessman of Indian origin and a Conservative Party politician, about the expectations of the Indian community in the UK with this trip.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on his fourth visit to the UK since 2014 on the 23rd and the 24th of July, and a lot of anticipation is built into this visit. With us is Lord Remy Ranger of Mayfair to talk about it. What can you tell us about your assessment of the tie so far, and what do you expect from this visit?
This will be a mother of all trade deals, because this will be between the oldest democracy and the largest democracies of the world, sharing equal values.
Is that sort of a message that you expect the two leaders to send out as well when Prime Minister Modi meets Prime Minister Starmer?
Well, India is playing already a very important role in fighting against terrorism. The Quad is a proof that they value India's security. India is doing what the civilized world want to do. So therefore, the Prime Minister Starmer will be overjoyed to receive Prime Minister Modi, the most popular and the most decorated Prime Minister in the world, who has been honored not only by Shia Iran but also Sunni Saudi Arabia. That just shows you diplomacy. He's not only respected by Putin, but he's also respected by Trump. Yes. So two rivals, they envy. That just shows that we play the center stage. We don't want to join any groups. We are master of our own destiny, and therefore our contribution to the world will be balanced, collaborated, and just equitable. For the last 10 years, ever since Modi come, we say with pride, I'm Indian. Wow. Everybody now says, I'm Indian. Even the Pakistani friends say we're Indian.
Well, let's hope that Prime Minister Modi this time around, along with his counterpart Keir Starmer, lead to a more heady and fruitful relationship between India and the United Kingdom. With cameraperson Jaina, Gautam Roy, London, DD India.
Up next, we're heading for a short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. But after the break, aiming to enhance bilateral partnership and cooperation, Minister of State for External Affairs Pabitra Margarita meets Prime Minister of Lesotho Samuel Matkane. Stay with us as we get you ahead all the legislative business lined up for passage in both sessions of the Parliament today. We also get you a quick roundup of weather fury in different parts of the world.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures, and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative. From current affairs to culture, from economic growth to sustainable development, and the ever-evolving world order, DD India gives you a comprehensive view of the world around us. Stay connected, stay informed, and embrace the stories that shape our lives. DD India. India's voice to the world.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. On the third day of a month-long monsoon session of Indian Parliament, the upper house will take up the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 for consideration and passage. The bill to consolidate and amend the law relating to regulation of coastal shipping, promote coastal trade and encourage domestic participation. The National Sports Governance Bill 2025 will also be introduced in the lower house of the Parliament. The bill will provide for development of and promotion of sports, welfare measures for sportspersons. The National Anti-Doping Amendment Bill 2025 will be introduced in the House. The bill aims to amend the National Anti-Doping Act 2022. Now, Merchant Shipping Bill 2024 will also be taken up for consideration and passage. The bill will consolidate and amend the law relating to merchant shipping to ensure compliance with India's obligation under the maritime treaties and international instruments to which India is a party. Both houses of Indian Parliament faced major disruptions on Tuesday on the second day of the monsoon session amid opposition protests. We get you a detailed report.
Day 2 of the monsoon session of the Parliament in India faced a washout with continuous opposition disruption. The Parliament convened at 11 a.m. local time on Tuesday morning after facing repeated disruption on Monday. Despite the Speaker of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman repeatedly asking House members to allow the House to function, the opposition continued their protest. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju also requested members to allow the House to function. He also said that the government had agreed to the demand of the opposition, but despite that, they are not allowing the House to function.
डिस्टर्ब करना ये तो बहुत आपत्तिजनक है और वो चर्चा मांग रहे हैं हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं फिर ये सदन चलने नहीं देते हैं ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड बिल्कुल गलत बात है चर्चा चाहते हैं तो ये हंगामा मत करो सरकार ने बार-बार कहा है कि हम चर्चा करना चाहते हैं फिर ये हंगामा क्यों कर रहे हैं कौन जिम्मेदार लेगा देश का करोड़ों टैक्स मनी को आप लोग हंगामा करके बर्बाद कर रहे हैं जवाब देना पड़ेगा.
Following repeated protests, both the houses of the parliament were adjourned at 2 p.m. local time for the day. 7 pending bills have been listed for consideration and passing, while 8 new bills have been listed for the introduction, consideration and passing. These are the Manipur Goods and Service Tax Amendment Bill and the Taxation Law Amendment Bill. The monsoon session will comprise a total of 21 sittings spread over 32 days and will conclude on August 21st. With inputs from Dibendu Mandal, Bureau Report, DD India.
The House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m.
All right, our correspondent Dibendu Mandal is joining us from the national capital to get us more details on how do we expect the Parliament to function today. All right, Dibendu, I see you braving the rains today to give us more details on that. As you await clear weather, do we also expect such clarity or, clear proceedings today in both the houses?
Well, Preeti, good morning. This is indeed a monsoon session with heavy rains lashing the national capital since morning. So, of course, this rains is causing a stormy parliament session. The first 2 days of Parliament has been a complete washout, with the opposition parties continuing their disruptions and protests ever since the Parliament convened on Monday. The primary demand of the opposition parties in Parliament had been the fact that there should be a discussion on Operation Sindoor. The government's Business Advisory Committee of the Lok Sabha did agree to the fact that there would be 18 hours specially earmarked for discussion on Operation Sindoor, but despite that time being allocated, the Parliament's both the houses were disrupted even yesterday. Both the houses barely sat for 10 to 15 minutes in total yesterday because of continuous disruptions from the opposition benches. But having said this, there are multiple legislative businesses that are listed even for today. And in fact, ever since the beginning, there were multiple legislative businesses listed. The Parliament was not being able to function because the opposition has been creating ruckus. But it will be interesting to see if, today the opposition lets the House function because, the government is planning to bring up multiple bills. Even today, because yesterday also there were the shipping bill that was expected to be tabled in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Rajya Sabha, but however it didn't happen. It is expected that today the opposition could help the House function for some time. The government's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju had been appealing to the opposition benches to let the House function and let the Parliament function with normalcy. But despite that, the opposition is relentless, and they are saying that their demand of the Prime Minister coming to the floor of the House and speaking on Operation Sindoor and several other important issues that the opposition are bringing up, according to them, they need an answer from the government. But it will be interesting to see if today's House functions smoothly, because the first 2 days have been a washout. Preeti.
2 days have been a washout, Dibyendu. We've just briefly mentioned the bills that will be taken up today in both the houses of Parliament. You get us more details, help us understand the significance of these bills.
Well, Preeti, there are some of these important bills is, of course, the Jan Vishwas bill that is expected to be tabled. The Lok Sabha, the standing committee have already tabled the taxation laws, taxation amendment law bill in the Parliament. But however, this did not also come up for discussion. The Lok Sabha did earmark about 10 hours for that particular bill. But despite, Preeti, there are multiple important bills which will help to, facilitate or help the ease of life of the people of this country. But if the Parliament doesn't function, and if the opposition doesn't let the Parliament function, it's become extremely difficult for the government to bring up, and which is the reason the government has been trying to ensure that the Parliament or the House runs in order. And of course, these important legislations, as I said, like the Jan Vishwas, the shipping bill, which will help, the maritime sector has been an important key sector of this government that the government has been trying to, push forward, because trade comes through maritime. So therefore, these important bills will help the development and growth of the country. And the government is hoping that the Parliament functions well and these bills will sail through both the houses. Preeti.
All right, Dibyendu, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details. In other news, India strongly rebutted Pakistan's renewed attempt to internationalize the Kashmir issue and raise objections over the Indus Waters Treaty at the United Nations Security Council. India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador P. Harish, in his statement at the UN Security Council high-level open debate on promoting international peace and security through multilateralism and peaceful settlement of dispute, reiterated India's stand on terrorism. He said that Pakistan, steeped in fanaticism and terrorism, and a serial borrower from the IMF.
On the one hand, there is India, which is a mature democracy, a surging economy, and a pluralistic and inclusive society. At the other extreme is Pakistan, steeped in fanaticism and terrorism, and a serial borrower from the IMF. As we debate promoting international peace and security, it is essential to recognize that there are some fundamental principles which need to be universally respected. One of them is zero tolerance for terrorism. It ill behoves a member of the Council to offer homilies while indulging in practices that are unacceptable to the international community.
Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, met Prime Minister of Lesotho, Samuel Matakane, on the second leg of his three-nation visit. Both the leaders held meaningful discussions on deepening India-Lesotho bilateral cooperation across the key sectors. Margarita also called on King Letsie III of Lesotho in Maseru. The two leaders discussed the ways to further enhance our bilateral partnership and cooperation in matters of mutual interest. During the first leg of his visit, the minister in Eswatini paid a courtesy call on King Mswati III and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Margarita held meetings with Foreign Minister of Eswatini to discuss matters of mutual interest and review the progress of bilateral relations. Also, the Union Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, is on an official visit to the Kingdom of Eswatini, the Kingdom of Lesotho and the Republic of South Africa from 18 to 25th of July. Extending India's full support to Bangladesh following the country's worst air disaster in decades, India is sending a team of burn specialists and medical staff to Dhaka to assist victims of Monday's deadly fighter jet crash that killed at least 31 people, most of them children. The Indian team will conduct an initial assessment of the patient's condition and provide recommendations for further treatment, including potential transfer to India for specialized care. The MEA also noted that additional medical teams may be deployed based on the findings of the preliminary assessment. The fatal crash occurred on Monday when an F-7 training jet of the Bangladesh Air Force plummeted into a milestone school and college campus in the capital's Daibari locality during a routine sortie. The impact triggered a massive fire and scenes of widespread panic, with terrified students and staff fleeing for safety. In a big boost to India's battlefield supremacy, the Indian Army inducted the first batch of 3 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, marking a historic leap in the firepower of the Army Aviation Corps. The induction of Apaches comes days after high-level defense talks between Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
The arrival of 3 advanced Apache Guardians, out of a total of 6 ordered, marks the beginning of a new era of precision strike capabilities and tactical dominance for the Indian Army. Some of the features of Apache A64EA are that it is twin-engine attack helicopter equipped with 30mm chain gun, has AGM-114 Hellfire missiles, Hydra 70 rockets, and air-to-air Stinger missiles. These Apaches will be deployed primarily along the western border, significantly boosting India's offensive and defensive posture against cross-border threats. Integrated into the Army's modernization push, the helicopters will operate alongside HAL's Rudra and Dhruv platforms, giving the Army Aviation Corps a formidable triad of mobility, firepower, and adaptability. The induction of Apaches comes days after high-level defense talks between Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. On July 1st, the two leaders reaffirmed India's right to deter cross-border terror threats and reviewed progress on major US defense deals, including the Apache program. The Apache AH-64E, also called the Guardian, is not just an attack helicopter. It's an airborne command post, a hunter-killer system, and a deterrent all rolled into one. Its radar system allows it to track 128 targets at once, prioritize threats, and strike with pinpoint accuracy, even in zero visibility, making it a flying tank hunter and a guardian angel for Indian ground forces. With the arrival of these combat birds, India sends a clear message. Its guardians of the skies are ready, capable, and watching. The Army Aviation Corps is evolving, and the Apache is leading the charge. Akshay Dongre's report for DD India.
And now we'll get to some weather updates from across the globe. Delhi wakes up to a rainy morning. Heavy rains lashed several parts of Delhi NCR on Wednesday morning. Light rain was also reported from Gurugram, where the Met Department has issued an orange alert for more showers across Delhi throughout the day. The Weather Department forecast also indicated that light rain will continue throughout the week, with weather conditions expected to remain similar until July 28th. This week, heavy rainfall is expected in the southern parts of India, especially in the regions of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana and coastal Andhra Pradesh. West and central India, including Madhya Maharashtra, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, may see intense showers through July 28th. Surface winds reaching 40 to 50 kilometers per hour will likely sweep across South Peninsular India over the next 5 days. Thunderstorms with lightning are forecast in Bihar, Odisha and northeastern states, especially Meghalaya on July 23rd. Stay updated and stay safe. Climate change is visibly impacting Nepal, with the Tarai region facing severe drought, while other areas experiencing heavy rainfall causing floods and landslides. In Tarai, the provincial government has declared Madhya province a drought-prone area. The Centre for Crop Development and Agro-Biodiversity Conservation said only 72% of paddy fields in the Tarai have been planted so far. The Department of Roads has identified damage at 227 locations nationwide, with some roads now operating as one-way due to the impact. Heavy rains flooded southern Mexico City on Monday, prompting rescue teams to assist stranded drivers and clear blocked drains. The city's Civil Protection Agency issued a yellow alert as heavy downpour affected numerous neighborhoods. Police officers helped motorists escape from vehicles trapped on waterlogged roads and towed cars stranded in flooded streets. According to the National Autonomous University of Mexico, since the start of the season on May 15th, 6 tropical cyclones have formed in rapid succession, a frequency described as highly unusual. Soaring temperatures gripped the wider Balkan region on Tuesday, fueling wildfires in Albania. Albanian firefighters battled the wildfire using aerial and ground resources to combat the blaze in challenging terrain. National Agency of Civil Protection deployed drones equipped with thermal cameras to assist in planning and coordinating firefighting efforts. Wildfires in the Northern National Park and near Ducat village in the southwest were fought by firefighters aided by 4 aircraft from Italy and Greece. Meanwhile, Albanian National Agency of Civil Protection shared thermal imaging and aerial views showing the extent of the blaze in Ducat, with clouds of smoke rising from forested areas. The footage reveals multiple active fire spots spreading across the landscape. You're watching DD India News. Are we heading for a short break? But after the break, addressing demands for zero-calorie affordable drinks, Coca-Cola to launch a new drink made with cane sugar in the US. CBS parent company Paramount pays $16 million as part of a lawsuit settlement filed by Trump on former Vice President Kamala Harris's interview aired on 60 Minutes program. After braving Parkinson's disease since 2019, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman of heavy metal group Black Sabbath, passes away at the age of 76.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. Arey, it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick look at the top stories now. Prime Minister Modi is set to embark on a 2-nation visit to UK and Maldives. Will hold talks with UK counterpart in London on key issues. Also to attend Maldives Independence Day celebrations as the guest of honour. India extends medical assistance to Bangladesh to send a team of burn specialist doctors and nurses to treat the Dhaka jet crash victims. Trump announces massive trade deal with Japan with 15% tariffs. Deal includes $550 billion of Japanese investments in the US, also lowers tariffs to 19% in trade deal with Indonesia. In cricket, India to take on England in a do-or-die 4th test at Old Trafford to level the series. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday announced a trade deal with Japan that includes a 15% tariff that will be levied on US imports from the country. The plan will result in Japan investing $550 billion into the US and paying a 15% reciprocal tariff. While speaking at an event at White House, Trump said that Japan will form a joint venture with the US for LNG in Alaska. Trump added that representatives from the European Union are coming for trade negotiations with the United States on Wednesday.
I just signed the largest trade deal in history. I think maybe the largest deal in history with Japan. And that was done with Japan. They had their top people here, and we worked on it long and hard, and it's a great deal for everybody. And I said to the Japanese trade representatives, and these were the top people, we concluded the one deal, Doug, and now we're going to conclude another one because they're forming a joint venture with us in Alaska, as you know, for the LNG.
Earlier in a post on Truth Social, Trump said that Japan will open its economy to US goods, including cars, trucks, rice and certain agricultural products. Trump's post made no mention of easing tariffs on Japanese automobiles. In a letter sent to Japan this month, Trump threatened a 25% tariff on the country's exports to the US if there wasn't a new trade deal struck before 1st of August. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said on Wednesday that the US auto tariffs would be cut to 15% from 25% after the two countries reached a trade deal. Talking to media, the Japanese Prime Minister said that the two sides agreed to halve the additional 25% tariff rate imposed on cars and car parts since April to 15%, which includes the 2.5% previously in place. He further added that Japan is the first country in the world to reduce tariffs on automobiles and auto parts with no limits on volume. The United States and Indonesia have reached a trade deal that will significantly reduce tariffs and open new opportunities for American businesses in Southeast Asia. Under the deal, Indonesia will eliminate more than 99% of tariffs and non-tariff barriers on the US goods, including industrial, technology and agricultural products. In exchange, the US will lower a proposed 32% tariff on Indonesian imports to 19%, though goods suspected of transshipment to dodge duties will face a 40% rate. The agreement to secure broader market access for American companies, Indonesia will remove export restrictions on key critical minerals like nickel, copper and cobalt. Additionally, Indonesia has agreed to drop plans for tariffs on cross-border data flows and will support the World Trade Organization's moratorium on e-commerce duties. US President Trump also announced a trade deal with the Philippines. Earlier, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. met Trump at the White House. Marcos is the first Southeast Asian leader to meet Trump in his second term. Trump has already struck trade deals with Vietnam and Indonesia, but had been driving tough bargains in talks even with close allies. Washington needs to keep on side in its strategic rivalry with China. Moving on, ahead of negotiations with Russia this week, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday said that securing a ceasefire and the release of prisoners remain the top priorities. Peace talks between Ukraine and Russia, the first in 7 weeks, are planned to start on Wednesday in Turkey. Zelensky also said that Ukraine and its partners were working to organize a leaders' peace summit and secure the return of civilians and children detained by Russia. Over the past 5 months, Ukraine and Russia have held 2 rounds of talks in Istanbul and agreed to swap prisoners, but made no breakthrough in ending the conflict.
Нашою переговорною командою Рустем Умєров очолить делегацію на наступну зустріч з російською стороною. Ми узгодили, що саме має бути аджендою зустрічі, які теми ключові для України, звільнення наших людей з російського полону має продовжуватись. І зараз, саме зараз, вже почались необхідні процедури для нового обміну. Ми завтра чекаємо наших людей. І я дуже сподіваюся, що завтра все нам вдасться. Ми стараємось, зокрема, завдяки нашим партнерам, міжнародним посередникам, стараємось забезпечити звільнення також цивільних заручників і повернення наших дітей, які були викрадені Росією.
Meanwhile, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright stated that imposing sanctions on Russian oil is a strong possibility as a means to help end the conflict in Ukraine. Earlier this month, U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Washington might impose 100% tariffs on purchasers of Russian oil and introduce additional sanctions if Moscow fails to agree to a significant peace deal with Ukraine by early September. U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is traveling to the West Asia as Washington tries again to secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. State Department spokesman Tammy Bruce told reporters on Tuesday that Witkoff was going with a strong hope of helping finalize a ceasefire deal and set up a new humanitarian corridor.
Special Envoy Witkoff is heading to the region now, to the Gaza area. We all have, as the President and the Secretary and the Envoy, a strong hope that we will come forward with another ceasefire, as well as a humanitarian corridor for aid to flow, that both sides have in fact agreed to this.
Talks between Israel and Hamas have been going on for weeks in Qatar. The US has proposed a 60-day ceasefire during which Hamas would release some hostages, Israel would free Palestinian prisoners, and more aid would enter Gaza. Talks on a permanent peace would begin during this period. A spokesperson for the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Stefan Dujarric, said on Tuesday that the UN chief deeply regretted the decision by President Trump to withdraw the United States from UNESCO. He also conveyed the statement from UNESCO Director General Audrey Azoulay during a UN noon briefing. Dujarric said, and I quote, "In the past years, UNESCO stepped up efforts to take action wherever the agency's mission could contribute to peace," and I unquote.
Must have seen this morning that in a statement issued by Audrey Azoulay, the Director General of UNESCO, she said she deeply regretted the decision of the United States to withdraw once again from the organization she leads. She added that in the past years, UNESCO has stepped up efforts to take action wherever the agency's mission could contribute to peace. And of course, the Secretary General joins her in deeply regretting the decision by the United States.
The Trump administration is repeating a move made during his first term, which was reversed by President Joe Biden. The withdrawal from UNESCO is set to take effect at the end of next year. The move is in line with Trump administration's Border America First foreign policy, which includes a deep skepticism of multilateral groups, including the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and even the NATO alliance. The State Department accused UNESCO of supporting a globalist, ideological agenda for international development at odds with our America First foreign policy. US President Trump said that CBS parent company Paramount paid $16 million as part of a lawsuit settlement. This month, Paramount agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by Trump, claiming that CBS news program 60 Minutes deceptively edited an interview with former President Kamala Harris that the network broadcast in October. Paramount needs approval from the Federal Communications Commission for its $8.4 billion merger with Skydance Media. The FCC did not make a decision by the 180-day informal deadline in mid-May, and FCC Chair Brendan Carr has denied Trump's lawsuit was a factor. Trump and CBS formally agreed on Tuesday to the dismissal of his lawsuit, according to a court filing. Coca-Cola on Tuesday laid out plans to launch a new product made with cane sugar in the US this year and beat estimates for quarterly results on resilient demand for zero-calorie drinks as well as higher prices. Food companies are seeking healthier substitutes as they respond to Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again campaign. Last week, President Trump said Coca-Cola had agreed to use real cane sugar in the US. Coca-Cola already sells Coke made from cane sugar in other markets, including Mexico. The switch to cane sugar will also drive up costs, including significant adjustments to supply chains, industry analysts have said. Coca-Cola reiterated that the hit to costs due to the global trade dynamics remain manageable. About 61% of its revenue comes from overseas markets. The company has said it would look at affordable packaging options such as plastic bottles when Trump imposed a 25% duty on aluminum imports. Lawyers for former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro told the Supreme Court that he did not violate the court-ordered social media ban after the top judge accused him of breaching the order and demanded an explanation from his lawyers. In a document sent to Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, who is overseeing an investigation into allegations that Bolsonaro plotted a coup, Bolsonaro's lawyers asked the court to clarify the exact scope of the social media ban. Moraes ordered the ban on Friday, along with mandating he wears an ankle bracelet, among other measures, alleging that he courted the interference of the US President Donald Trump, who has tied steep new tariffs on Brazilian goods to what he called a witch hunt against Bolsonaro. On Monday, Moraes accused Bolsonaro of violating the order by giving an interview to journalists, pointing to clips the news outlets later posted on their social media accounts. The judge gave Bolsonaro's legal team 24 hours to explain the media appearance, warning that failure to comply could lead to an arrest warrant. In eastern Congo, rescue operations at the Lomera artisanal gold mine continued on Tuesday after a shaft collapse over the weekend trapped an unknown number of miners underground. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of Sunday morning amid heavy rains in South Kivu's Luhihi region, has highlighted the site's dangerous working conditions and lack of regulatory oversight. Survivors described the structure shaking before giving way, forcing some miners to flee through alternate shafts. Authorities have not yet disclosed an official death toll or confirmed the number of missing miners, though local sources estimate dozens may have been underground when the shaft collapsed. The site remains sealed off as safety inspections continue and mining operations are suspended until Thursday. Gambia reported an outbreak of mpox with detection of a single case as several nearby countries have recorded recent increase in the infections. Mpox remains an international health emergency, the World Health Organization's director said last month amid a rise in West Africa. Mpox is caused by a virus from the same family as smallpox. It can be transmitted to humans by infected animals but can also be passed between people through close physical contact. Thousands of cases have also been recorded this year across Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda and Burundi. Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman of heavy metal group Black Sabbath, died on Tuesday at the age of 76, just weeks after he gave an epic farewell concert. The hell-raising singer, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2019, passed away just over a fortnight after playing a final gig before a sold-out crowd in his home city of Birmingham, England. Osbourne was instrumental in pioneering heavy metal, an offshoot of hard rock, as Black Sabbath enjoyed huge commercial success in the 1970s and 80s after forming in Birmingham in 1968. Black Sabbath went on to sell more than 75 million albums worldwide and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. Osbourne was added for a second time last year as a solo artist. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, stay with us as we get you how dollar braced up after the trade deal between US and Japan. In women ODIs, India beat England by 13 runs in Durham, clinched the ODI series 2-1. National Broadcasting Day in India is celebrated on July 23rd. Stay with us for a special report. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's talk of business now. The dollar held losses against the yen after US President Trump announced a trade deal with Japan ahead of an impending tariff deadline. Uncertainty over the eventual state of tariffs globally has been a huge overhang for the foreign exchange market, leaving currencies trading in a tight range for the most part, even as stocks on Wall Street have scaled fresh highs. The dollar index was down 0.4% to 97. The greenback traded at 146.65 yen, little changed from the previous session when it slid 0.5%. On to sports now. Talking of cricket with the series online, all eyes are now on Old Trafford, Manchester, where England and India are set to lock horns in the crucial fourth test. It is a venue that has historically offered no favours to the visitors, India. With injuries in the squad, can India rewrite history or will England seal another home series? We get your report.
The historic Old Trafford Stadium in Manchester gears up to host the fourth test of the five-match series between India and England. With hosts leading 2-1, this match could prove decisive and daunting for India. India has never tasted victory at Old Trafford. It's not just the venue that's challenging for India, there's a growing injury concern as well. All-rounder Nitish Reddy and pacer Arshdeep Singh have suffered injuries while training for the test. Reddy has been ruled out of the remainder of the series. Rishabh Pant, who hurt his finger during the third test, may only be fit to bat and not keep the wickets. Anshul Kamboj has been called up and may debut in the fourth test, hinting at changes in the pace unit with Arshdeep Singh also sidelined. The top order sees no major shuffle. Yashasvi Jaiswal and KL Rahul are expected to open. Shubman Gill holds his spot at number 4, while the all-rounder unit of Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar is expected to remain unchanged. Jasprit Bumrah leads the bowling attack. With multiple frontline pacers out, all eyes will be on Anshul Kamboj and the support cast of Mohammad Siraj.
हाँ जस्सी भाई तो खेलेंगे अभी तो यही पता है बट जैसा कॉम्बिनेशन डे बाय डे चेंज हो रही है तो हम लोग का एक ही प्लान है कि जितना हो सके जैसा इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग अटैक है तो हम लोग का ये एक ही प्लान है कि जितना हो सके हम लोग एक गुड एरियाज में डालिए और वहां पर हिट करें क्योंकि उन लोग ज्यादा पेशेंस से खेले क्योंकि लास्ट मैच आप देखेंगे बहुत ज्यादा पेशेंस से खेले तो हम लोग को भी अच्छा लगा कि ये हाँ भाई सही ये टेस्ट क्रिकेट का मजा अब आ रहा है.
England will be confident. They have dominated at home and now just stand one win away from sealing another series. England has made just one change to its playing 11, with all-rounder Liam Dawson replacing the injured Shoaib Bashir.
Yeah, obviously we're in a strong position. We're happy with the way that the games have gone so far. They've been tense. They've been good to watch. And yeah, we're looking forward to this week. Like I said, India's such a good side that they can bounce back at any stage. We saw that after beating them at Headingley, they've bounced back and had an excellent performance at Edgbaston. So yeah, we've got to go out there, try and do our thing, and hopefully it's better than theirs.
With India trailing the series and history stacked against them at the Old Trafford, the fourth test isn't just about squaring the series, it's about defying the odds. Can India finally conquer Manchester, or will England continue their dominance at home? Sports Desk, DD India.
In another blow for India, fast bowler Akashdeep has been ruled out of the fourth test against England in Manchester starting on Wednesday. Skipper Shubman Gill confirmed that Akashdeep will miss the match due to a groin niggle. The pacer adds to the injury list for the visitors ahead of the must-win clash. All-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy has been ruled out of the series, while Arshdeep Singh will also miss the test. The bowler had played a key role in India's win in Edgbaston, picking up a match haul of 10 wickets. Indian captain Shubman Gill accused England of ignoring the spirit of cricket after the host time-wasting tactics in the third test at Lord's sparked an angry flare-up between the teams. The tourists ought to have been able to bowl 2 overs late in the third day's play of the third test after being dismissed for 387. However, Crawley ensured that there was only 1 over from Jasprit Bumrah before stumps. He twice withdrew from his stance and then called for the physio after the fifth ball appeared to make minimal contact with his glove. Tempers flared as it became evident India would not be able to bowl another over before the close of the play. England went on to win the match by 22 runs to go 2-1 up in a 5-match series. In the women's cricket, India capped off a successful visit of England to clinch the ODI series 2-1 after securing a 13-run victory in the third and final ODI in Durham on Tuesday. Harmanpreet Kaur's century and Kranti Gaur's 6-wicket haul handed India a 13-run victory over England. Harmanpreet's 84-ball 102 asked England to post what would have been a world record run chase of 319 in their last competitive match before the World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. At just 18 years, Kranti Gaur became the second youngest Indian to take a 6-wicket haul in the women's ODI, matching Deepti Sharma's age when she accomplished the same feat. The National Broadcasting Day in India is celebrated on July 23rd to commemorate the day when All India Radio was established in 1927. On this day in 1927, the first ever radio broadcast in the country went on air from a Bombay station under a private company, the Indian Broadcasting Company.
On the 8th of June 1936, the Indian State Broadcasting Service became All India Radio. The Central News Organization came into existence in August 1937, but after a few years, it was split up into 2 divisions, the News Services Division and the External Services Division. In 1956, the name Akashvani was adopted for the national broadcaster. The Vivid Bharati service was launched in 1957 with popular film music as its main component. Since 1927, radio has been an important part of people's life in the country. It played a crucial role in promoting national unity, disseminating information, and preserving cultural heritage. Over the years, All India Radio has expanded its reach through technological advancements, including satellite radio, FM stations, and digital platforms. Its programming focuses on education, public service, and entertainment, catering to diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds. All India Radio has significantly impacted Indian society and culture, promoting national integration and providing a platform for local voices. Akashvani has been serving to inform, educate, and entertain the masses, truly living up to its motto, Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya. Bureau Report, DD India.
Of DD India News Hour, Bart, let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.